Hey everyone, it's Amanda with Love and Soap Studio. So I just got done writing a new basic soap making book, and here it is right here. It's a complete guide to natural soap making. And so in it we have cold processed soap, hot processed soap, liquid soap, melt and pour, hand milled soap. And all of the recipes include natural herbs and spices and clays for colorant, and then essential oils for scent. And so it has 65 recipes. And I just wanted to show you a little bit about the book, like just to kind of give you a preview. And then I wanted to preview one of the recipes. So the book is full color and step-by-step photos on all of the design techniques and the basic steps for each process. And then you'll be able to see kind of what some of the soaps look like when you make them. Okay, so here's an example of the step-by-step photos. Okay, so it's a really good book, whether you're a beginner or an advanced soap maker, because I think you'd find a lot of good ideas, or maybe just some creative inspiration on a colorant maybe you haven't tried, or a technique. So lots of different things. All right, so the recipe that I want to share with you today is our lemon turmeric cold processed soap. So let me find that for you, and I will share the recipe with you under the description. Let's see. All right, so this is a really nice basic recipe. We've got 30% coconut oil, 10% mango butter, 45% olive oil, and 15% apricot kernel. And it's called lemon turmeric. We do use turmeric as one of the colorants, and I have some lemon essential oil in it. And if you've ever worked with lemon essential oil, it can be kind of fleeting in soap, meaning it kind of evaporates and goes away quickly. So to help anchor it, I like to add Litsea essential oil to my blend. So this essential oil blend uses 30 grams of lemon and 15 grams of Litsea essential oils. Okay, and as far as the design, it's a pretty easy design. It's an in the pot swirl. So I am going to show you how to do that. Now I'm actually out of annatto, so instead of annatto, I'm just going to use some rose clay. Okay, so if you're out of something in the instructions, just substitute in whatever natural colorant you have. All right, so I already have my base oils prepared. I weigh out my solid oils, melt them, then add the liquid oils. That helps to cool down everything. And then I have my lye solution made. I've already added my essential oils to here. So this has my base oils, my essential oils, have my lye solution, and my temperatures are between 90 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So we are ready to make this soap. And as far as the mold, I'm just going to use a 10-inch silicone loaf mold. Okay, so goggles and gloves. If you're new to soap making and you need, help with the basics on how to prepare the oils, how to prepare the lye solution, then definitely check out the book. It has all of the basic instructions that you need. Okay, so we're just going to mix this to emulsion or a light trace, and then that way we'll have plenty of time to color our soap and then, do the swirl. Okay, so we don't want to get it too thick or we're not going to have time to do everything. So that looks like a nice light trace. Just give it a good mix, make sure everything's mixed in. And I have a couple black floaties. Those are just from the previous soap I had made. I don't think I cleaned my stick blender very well. All right, so we're at a nice emulsion. I don't even really see trace, so that's gonna, give us plenty of time to color our soap and divide it out. All right. So we're going to need 2 additional cups to color our soap, so let me grab those. All right, and when it comes to an in the pot swirl, you have your base and then you have your colorants that you're going to pour back into your base. So I recommend that the bulk of your soap remain your base, and I'm doing white. You can certainly color it, and then just divide out, a little bit for your colors. And how much is totally up to you. You could do as little as that, just if you want a little bit of that color. But I'm definitely going to do a little more. Okay. All right, so I think that'll be good. Okay, and then we're coloring our soap. We're doing white, we're doing rose clay, and we're doing turmeric. So let me go ahead and add those. I don't pre-mix my zinc oxide, but you certainly can. I'm going to stick blend it in with my stick blender. Same with the other colorants. If you want to pre-mix them in oil, you certainly can. It's not really necessary. All right, so I have 1 tablespoon of turmeric and 1 tablespoon of annatto. You know, depending on how much soap you divide out, you can certainly use less or more. Turmeric does tend to fade on me, so I do like to use quite a bit. And it will look really dark in the soap. Again, I'm out of annatto, so I'm just going to use some rose clay. And I'm going to use more like a teaspoon of that because I know that that'll be quite dark. All right, and we'll mix these up. And again, I just use my stick blender for the white. Push it down. And then give it a good blend. Now, when you're doing it in the pot swirl, you do want your soap to be nice and fluid, but if it's too fluid like water, your soap might muddy up a little bit. So I'm going to actually use my stick blender to bring this to like a light to medium trace, and that'll just help the colors in the swirl be a little more crisp and bright, so it won't like muddy together too much, okay? All right, I think this looks good. We're definitely a little thicker, and I don't know if you can see it on camera, but we're at a nice light trace. All right, so same thing with the other two. Go ahead and mix them up and bring them to just a light trace. Okay, so that turmeric one's at a light trace as well. Okay, so this is called an in the pot swirl because you do all of the swirling in the pot or in the bowl as what we're using today. And so what most soap makers do is I'll pour the soap back in here in just 3 spots, and I'll just kind of layer it, you know, on top of each other. And then I'll give it a swirl, and then I'll pour it into the mold. And as I pour it into the mold, it's going to swirl as well. So 1, 2, 3, and there's no really magic number. You could do 4 spots. If you're doing a real big batch, of course, do more. So 1, 2, 3, and then I like to leave just a little soap for the top that will swirl on top. So just enough to do a few lines, so I don't think I need all this. Now here's another tip. If you feel like your soap is too fluid and if you pour it, it might just muddy in your mold, just let it sit like this. So let it sit like this until you can come back and check on it and kind of see how thick it is by, you know, like teasing the top. And then when you're at like a medium trace, then that's going to be like a better consistency to pour your soap so that it doesn't get all muddied. So this is a little fluid. I could pour it now. It certainly wouldn't hurt it. It would just make, you know, a real wispy swirl. But I think I'm going to actually let it sit for a little bit and come back to it and then pour. All right, so I've let it sit for a few minutes to thicken up, and I can kind of tease it until it's a little thicker. Not much, but a little bit. So it is time to pour it into our mold. And so one thing that I like to do and many soap makers do is just do 1 rotation. And that's just going to kind of start the swirl. Don't do it too much, or again, it'll get muddy on you. And then as we pour this into the mold, it's just going to kind of swirl all together. So let's go ahead and pour. These are always really fun soaps to cut because you never know quite what you're going to get on the inside. All right, and then I kept a little bit of the soap of the different colors that we can pour on the top. However you want to do it, you can just do stripes and then swirl just the very tippy top. Totally up to you. All right, so I'm just going to take the tip of my teaspoon here and swirl the very top. All right, so there is our in the pot swirl. So it'll be a lot of fun to cut. I don't want ash to form, so I'm gonna try and remember to spray it with alcohol after it sets. When it's this loose, you don't really want to spray with alcohol because it can kind of pick up some of your colorants and move them around. So let it sit until it thickens and it turns kind of dull, and then spray it with alcohol. And then I like to spray it with alcohol once and then wait 30 minutes to an hour and then spray it again. And then you can even repeat that again just to make sure that you're not going to get any. So we'll let this harden and saponify for 24 hours. After 24 hours, I'll come and cut it and show you what it looks like. So thank you so much for watching this design tutorial. For more recipes and design tutorials like this, check out my new book, The Complete Guide to Natural Soap Making. You can find it on Amazon.com as a print book or as a Kindle book. Thanks so much. Bye.